This was me 3 years ago. I finished the video in the morning, went to bed exhausted, and still wasn't making the money I thought all that work would bring. And the worst part is, I thought I was doing everything right. What I didn't know back then is that most editors are stuck because of one thing nobody tells them. I was watching tutorials, learning the trending styles, and applying to jobs on Fiverr, Discord, Upwork, but I was still stuck under $1,000 a month for more than 1 year. A few months later though, I was charging over $1,500 per project. So what changed? In this video I'm going to expose the ugly truth nobody tells video editors, what costs you if you keep missing it, and what changes when you finally get it right. But before we talk about what changed, you need to understand why most editors stay stuck for years. Because after having more than 300 flexing coaching calls with stuck video editors, helping many of them scale to $5,000, $10,000 and even $13,000 per month, I realized that this isn't just a story, it was a pattern. Once you see the trap clearly, you'll understand why just getting better isn't enough. And that's what most editors do. They get better, they learn the trending styles, and they can deliver impressive work. And yet, they are still stuck earning around $1,000 to $4,000 per month. Still dealing with endless revisions, still getting lowballed, and still getting ghosted when they try to raise their prices. The editors in this trap are usually not beginners. They can deliver good work, but they still feel replaceable. And that's what makes the editing hell so frustrating. It's not that you suck, it's that you keep getting better, you keep working harder, yet you still don't feel more valuable. And the weirdest part is that once I was deep into this cycle, I noticed editors who weren't even that skilled making way more money than me. I still remember the moment when I saw a video from one editor claiming he was making around $10,000 per month, and when I opened his portfolio expecting to see work that was way better than mine, I was frustrated because it wasn't. In fact, some of the edits I made were already better than his. Even though I got really mad back then, that's what made me realize that if editors who are less skilled than me are making way more money, it means that the game is not as simple as get better and money will follow. Meaning that I was grinding at the wrong thing, and here is the ugly truth. Most editors stay underpaid not because they lack skill, but because they keep improving at the part nobody gives a fuck about. Since the advice most of them hear sounds right on the surface: master editing, post your work on social media, and wait for the clients to come. But that path usually makes you more impressive to other editors, not more valuable to clients. Because mastering the trendy styles, working harder, and spamming more effects doesn't automatically make the client see you as someone worth paying more for. In fact, it makes the problem worse, because the more you compete like every other editor, the easier you are to compare to and the easier you are to replace, turning you into another NPC they DM for the price and ghost when you reply. And if you haven't figured out why this advice is so popular and why gurus repeat it a lot, let me break it down for you. It's way easier to sell editors another master the Imagazi style course than teaching them the skills clients pay more for. I remember posting my edits on Twitter and feeling proud because other editors love them. Then I send the same edits to clients expecting them to see the difference, the extra work I put on, the crazy effects, or the fancy animations. But most of the time they didn't react to the part I thought mattered the most. And the moment that messed with my head really hard was when one of my old clients, Logan, asked me to replace one of the fancy animations I spent extra time on with movie footage. At first I couldn't understand it. I spent way more time in creating these animations and I thought that was the impressive part. But after talking to Logan, I understood that he was judging my value by a completely different standard than I was. I was trying to impress other editors and prove how good I was, while Logan was thinking about the audience, how the scene would feel, whether the moment would hit harder, and whether the content would actually work. He was recommending movie scenes to spark an emotion, real screenshots instead of fancy animations to show proof, and moments of silence in the videos to release the tension from the viewer's mind. I was thinking like an editor back then, but he was thinking like someone trying to grow. Then I was able to see it everywhere around me. The editors who were getting paid more were not the ones trying their hardest to impress other editors, but the ones who were making themselves more useful for the clients. Because once a customer feels like you understand their message, their niche, and the goal of the content, you stop being just another video editor and you become someone they trust. Someone who helps them achieve a result and someone who is harder to replace. That's where leverage comes from, and that's where higher rates come from. In that moment I realized that the shift is not from bad editor to good editor, but from NPC editor to content operator. Most NPC editors obsess over the timeline. They try to impress other editors or the clients by spamming more effects, fancy transitions, or animations. But content operators think differently. They think, how can I make the message easier to understand? How can I make the viewer feel something? And how can I make the content perform? That's the biggest difference. An NPC editor is focused on editing, while a content operator is focused on the outcome. Because the editing is just the vehicle that helps the customer get to their desired result. And once you understand that, you realize something even bigger. Making content perform is not just editing, but it's also marketing, because when you understand what makes a viewer click, stay, and buy, you're not just making good-looking videos, you're actually making content perform. That's why one editor gets judged based on effort, while the other gets judged based on the outcome. So how does this look like actually in the real life? It means that you stop editing to make things look better and you start editing to make content work better. So even before you touch the timeline, you ask different questions. What is the video trying to do? What should the audience feel in these exact moments? Or what can I cut, simplify, or change in the video to make the message hit harder? That's exactly why Logan didn't care about the fancy animation I spent extra time on. He cared about what made the message hit harder, what made the scenes clearer, and what made the content perform better. It's what allowed us to create videos with hundreds of thousands and even millions of views. And it's also why editors like my stud and Derek scale to $10,000 per month while editing in CapCut. Not because CapCut is the next super tool or because he became the most skilled editor overnight, but because he stopped playing this game as a replaceable editor. Even Logan said that he paid me over $1,000 per project because the ROI made sense, not because of effects or for trends, but because the videos were making his channel perform and bringing profit to his business. And that's the whole point. When you stop selling edits and you start making content perform, your rates stop being a negotiation because now your work is connected to the results that they get. So if you're stuck into the editing hell right now, the answer is not to become a more impressive video editor, but to become more valuable in the eyes of the customer. To stop thinking like a replaceable NPC video editor and to start acting like a content operator, becoming the strategist and the partner that the customers are looking for. And if you want the full roadmap for escaping editing hell and scaling past $5,000 per month as an editor by becoming a content operator, I break it down inside of the Editing Dojo, where I have a free full course showing you exactly what keeps you stuck under 5K amount and the strategy that took multiple students of mine past $5,000 and even $10,000 per month. So join the Editing Dojo, the first link will be in the description, and see you inside.